Hi everyone, I've back again with another quick video, slightly different to the last one that I recorded. I've come up with an idea which is the business reboot, and I'm going to record a series of videos over the next couple of days just to help you adapt, change, spot opportunities, looking about innovation within businesses as well. We're in unprecedented times, so I'm really keen to help you where I can and maybe come up with some ideas that could help you within your business. I'm Justin Turner. I'm from Orange Umbrella. We're a small accountancy business based in Newcastle upon Tyne. So where am I going to start today, and what's actually prompted this video? Well, what prompted this video was I saw this headline, which coronavirus, HelloFresh to create 400 new jobs. And then also I saw on the Gusto website is that because of the demand they're experiencing, that they're not taking any new orders. These companies are food box services, so meal kits in a box delivered to your door. And what it gave me the idea was that restaurants can adapt and change. So we can see a marketplace that, despite this virus, is actually doing really, really well. And how do we actually exploit that in order to protect our business? And what I really want to see happen is small businesses being able to take on these sorts of ideas and adapt their business model in sustainable ways. I've got a few slides that I'm going to help you with that. So why should you listen to me? Well, in 2011, I went to work with Northumbria University on a program called Graduate Enterprise. And the key principle was we had 200-ish students. We would form them into groups of about 5 or 6 individuals who didn't know each other. We would get them to come up with a business idea, and then we would get them to trade. It was a real life business. And the key thing for us to do was to get them to trade before Christmas. Now, the problem was in the original few years is we struggled to get them actually to trade. Not all of them would trade before Christmas. So we changed and adapted our approach to use something called lean methodologies. And this is how we actually got them to trade faster. And it's the same principles that I want to help small businesses apply during the COVID-19 crisis as well. So let's look initially who's doing well at the moment. Well, supermarkets are doing well. There's huge demand at the moment for food supplies. Home education is actually doing well. Obviously, the schools are closed, so you're finding a lot of tutors. They've moved to online teaching models. We're also seeing uptake in fitness equipment, people buying turbo trainers, which I've got one of those in my own home, to biking inside the house. All sorts of other types of fitness equipment is being sold. They're doing quite well. Delivery services are obviously doing very well. People are wanting more things delivered to their home. They're doing more online shopping. We're seeing huge uptakes in online software. Online retailers in certain sectors are doing well. Other sectors they're not doing so well. Well, obviously the supply chain providing to supermarkets are doing very well, and I couldn't resist, but toilet paper manufacturers as well are clearly doing well. It doesn't matter what's going on in a marketplace, there are always opportunities for businesses to exploit. So one of the great advantages for being small business is the fact that you are fundamentally small, and that actually you can easily adapt and change because you are small. If you're a big business, it becomes very, very difficult because you have so many rigid structures and processes in place that it's actually very difficult for you to adapt and change your business model overnight. Whereas as a small business, we can actually do that. We're seeing, obviously, big businesses are struggling to react to it, and they're making the decision to actually close their doors. Now, as a small business, you possibly can't afford to do that. I know the government have put support measures in place, but you're wanting to continually push forward and hopefully grow your business and actually come out stronger. So use this downtime to actually come up with some plans. And I tell you what, wouldn't it be nice for us small businesses to get one over on the big boys for a change? So your business is going downhill at the moment. You're seeing reduction in turnover. You're struggling to keep that profit at the bottom line, and we want to keep people employed. That's what it's all about here. So I want you to look around and look at your business and decide what resources do you actually have. How much money do you have at the bank in order to actually implement anything? You might not have very much. If you're a ratepayer, there might be some money coming from the government. Is there a way that we can utilize this money to its advantage, to your advantage, to actually achieve something else? How much time have you got? Well, at the moment, if your business is going downhill and you haven't got any customers, then actually you have got time on your hands to adapt and change your business model in order to do it. Your customer base is one of the most valuable resources that you've got in your business. So aim to exploit that resource to your advantage as well. And the most important thing here is learn by doing. Don't worry about trying to plan something out to the nth degree. Learn by doing. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's about something called lean methodologies. And this is what we did in the university. And we changed our structure of how we were getting the little businesses set up to follow something called lean methodologies. And lean methodologies, it was pioneered by this guy called Eric Ries. And he said, it's how today's entrepreneurs use continuous innovation to create radically successful businesses. So what the hell does that mean exactly? Well, what resources have you got at the moment? How can we use these resources effectively? And you've already actually created something before from nothing because you are a small business owner. So what we want to do is, it's not necessarily about doing it as cheap as possible, but it's about getting from A to B as quickly as possible. Now, forget about traditional business. What I want to get you in the mindset of is to build a new product or build a new idea, and I want you to deploy it into the marketplace as quickly as possible. I want you to then measure the success of it, and then I want you to learn from it. So we're going to measure the success through customer feedback, and what we're going to learn from it is that it's either going to be a success or it's going to be a failure. What we want to do is, if it's a failure, we go back to square one. We don't get too demoralized about it, and we try to rebuild it, repackage it. We might come up with a new idea, and we continue to do it. That's fundamentally what lean methodologies are all about. It's about learning by doing. If we develop a perfect product or service, we might actually then take it to marketplace and discover that there is no customer need, there is no marketplace for it, and actually it doesn't work. But we've already committed huge amounts of resources into it. Now, I want you to think about it like this. If we want to get from A to B, the fastest way to do it is in a supercar. But we can't afford one of those. So I want you to think about using this instead. We can get from A to B using a bicycle, but it's just a bit slower to get there. And it's not about perfection in your product or service idea. It's about getting it to market as quickly as possible. So we come up with an idea, and we don't think about the perfection of that idea. We just look at launching it into the marketplace. Some of the most successful ideas ever created have followed this basic fundamental. Dropbox, the file sharing service, they put up a website saying, we're building this product for distributed cloud storage of files. Who's interested in it? 1 million people signed up to that initial trial phase, but they hadn't actually started building the product in the first place. They then took that 1 million people who had signed up to be notified when the product was ready to investors to get investment in their product. That's a lean startup methodology, as we can get from A to B. So without even building a product or committing any resources, they're able to judge the scope, the size of the market, and measure that size of the market before they actually take it to market, rather than committing resources to it. So don't think about perfection in what you do. Just think about, especially in today's market, speed is really, really important. So we need to get there really, really quickly. But actually the mechanism by which we get there doesn't necessarily matter. It doesn't have to be a refined product. Yes, we're aiming to get that supercar built to get us there, but for the time being, let's put up with a bicycle and deal with that. And you can evolve your product as you are learning from it as well. So now you just need an idea. Tomorrow, I'm going to come up with another short video, a bit like today, which is going to help you think about ideas and come up with them for your business as well. Now might be an ideal opportunity for you to change some of the fundamental things that aren't going how you would want them to go in your business in order to actually establish something a bit more robust for unforeseen circumstances, for example. So I'll try and produce something for tomorrow in order to help you with that part. Right, so now we need to come up with a quick plan. So come up with an idea, and what you want to do is, again, keeping with lean startup or lean methodologies, we want to use a tool called Business Model Canvas. Just remember, if you fail to plan, then you might as well plan to fail. So Business Model Canvas is, rather than writing business plans, this is what we learned with doing at the university, is we would ask students originally in those early years to produce really extensive business plans. Problem is they took so long to write, whereas actually when we implemented this thing, which was the Business Model Canvas, we were able to quickly brainstorm ideas onto a piece of paper, so we could find who are the key partners, what are the key activities, what resources have we got, what's the value proposition here, what's the customer relationship, what are the channels we've got, what customer segments can we identify. My face is currently covering one of those things. We need to identify the cost structure is the bit that you can't see, and also what are the revenue streams that we're looking to develop as well. Right, let's go back to that idea about the boxes, the meal boxes like HelloFresh and Gusto. Now, if you're a restaurant at this moment in time, applying the same principles that I'm talking about here with lean methodologies, you have some key resources and key partners at your disposal. You already have staff, you already have premises, you already have access to the supply chain. They're your key partners in all of this. You already have pre-developed recipes and you already have a delivery vehicle. So there's nothing stopping you potentially, and I don't know the restaurant or cafe market particularly well, so I might be missing something key here, but you have all the key resources in order to quickly adapt your business plan into one of the emerging markets at the moment. Potentially that marketplace that you're operating in at the moment might be the takeaway marketplace, but actually to do with social distancing rules at the moment, you might not actually be able to maintain that social distance as people are queuing outside your premises. If the government's legislation change whereby people are going to have to retreat back to their houses and aren't allowed to go outside, then potentially even that adapted business model isn't going to work. Using my idea in terms of this lean methodology, we're actually looking to position the business in a much safer place where it's a food delivery business, whereby it's actually providing key ingredients. You could potentially look at delivering to vulnerable or elderly people during this time, but you're ideally positioned in order to do this. Now, thinking about lean methodologies again, we go on to one of the big box providers of meal kits. They've got these beautiful videos and adverts. Most of us have got a smartphone with an HD video. We can produce an advert. We might have to swallow a bit of pride getting in front of the camera like I am today, but fundamentally we can produce an advert and something really catchy, bit of content, really quickly, and it might not be perfect, but again, lean methodologies are about us getting from A to B as quickly as possible with the resources that we've got. We can't go out to a fancy advertising agency and get that done. Use what you've got at the moment. Potentially time is on your side, so you can use that time to your advantage as well. It's one of the resources that you've got. While you haven't got huge numbers of customers coming through the door, use the resource of time. Okay, you might say, I need packaging. Again, use what you've got available. Don't try to create fancy branded packaging that's beautifully designed and all put together and everything like that. We haven't got time to do that. We need to produce an idea, we need to measure the success, and then we need to analyze the results at the end. Now, by using the packaging you've got available, you're not committing any further costs into the idea, but it's allowing you to do that important part of lean, which is to measure what's actually happening here. in terms of instructions, we could produce them in a lovely PDF and send them to a commercial printer and get them all produced beautifully like the box companies do. We haven't got time for that. Just knock up some instructions on Microsoft Word and then we'll be able to print them out and put them in your new box idea. And use now, once you've got those things, you can use the biggest resource, which would be your loyal customer base. Now, I've just looked at one idea, which is in terms of how restaurants could adapt their business model. The same principles of lean methodologies can be used in whatever business that you're in. You just have to think creatively about them. I know this idea isn't particularly new, and there's already businesses out there in the restaurant market doing this. But it doesn't matter what your business is, potentially you can adapt and change your business model. If you're a face-to-face training company, then you can develop online content. Just looking this morning, my kids did the Joe Wicks YouTube workout. I only watched the first couple of minutes. He was talking about 650,000 people were online doing that workout at 9:05. People can adapt and change, but in order to do it quickly, use the lean methodologies. Right, so tomorrow I'm going to look at innovation and how we can create successful ideas. So it's about taking an idea and using some kind of models that we can use in order to determine whether an idea is successful or not. I'm really big fan of planning. And as I've worked with the universities for quite a number of years now, I can see the benefit of using some stuff from academia that may be theoretical, and people say, well, what's that got to do with business? But actually, you can use some of these tools in order to plan an idea out, and we can actually determine what the chances of a success are going to be. Obviously, these are unprecedented times, so it's really difficult for us to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. But my key message to small business owners at this moment in time is to try. You must try new things. You must try to protect your business. It's the most important thing. You can't rely on government handouts. It's just not going to be sustainable in the long run. So think now about how you can adapt and change your business in order to protect yourself as well. So anyway, that's all for today. I'll be back to you tomorrow with some of these ideas about how to innovate and how to come up with ideas and idea generation as well. If you've got any questions, I'll be posting this onto Loom, the software that I use to record it, and onto Facebook. Just come back to me with any comments and queries and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, thanks.